Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Advancement, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, we got a crazy story for y'all today, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. Anyway, let's get into this topic right here, right? So there's been this conversation going around about who has a bag, who doesn't have a bag. We've talked about it. There's also the conversation of how great LeBron is at his advanced age and all of that. But then LeBron himself has talked about not really needing the bag and why people shouldn't focus on the bag. I'm like, why are you giving this advice? Like, is every NBA player going to be 6'9" with those physical attributes, strong, fast, whatever? They're like, come on, we all like, come on, let's stop the nonsense. We even posted videos on the channel yesterday of Michael Jordan teaching his signature moves, Kobe Bryant teaching his signature moves. Like, let's stop with the madness, right? But a lot of people marvel at the greatness of LeBron at his advanced age, and it is pretty impressive. But then I came across a story yesterday from, believe it or not, Paul George's podcast, right? Paul George's podcast with Raymond Felton, former NBA player, who used to play, I believe, with the Bobcats, right? With the Bobcats, and at the time, Michael Jordan was the owner of that team. So at first, he was describing his time with Jordan, what Jordan was like as an owner, and all of that. And then eventually, Paul George then got to the meat and potatoes of it all, where he was essentially asking him, hey, look, man, what was it like being around Michael Jordan? Did he ever come down during practices and talk trash to you guys? Did he try to play you guys? And then he goes, yeah, Jordan did actually come down and play us. And he started playing us one-on-one. He would play players one-on-one, active NBA players one-on-one. And according to Raymond Felton, Jordan never lost a single one-on-one game at the age of 43, playing against professional, active NBA players. And I'm like, this is incredible. To the point where even Paul George was like, but I'm sure he probably left the court with a few L's. He was like, nah, he never lost. He was like, we scored, but he never lost the game. And I'm like, this is just absolutely incredible. I'm like, this is a story we need to talk about. But before we even get into what his comments were, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. Prize Picks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love Prize Picks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do, I want to play what he had to say. I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what he had to say there.
But MJ as an owner is just how he is as a player, man. He was super competitive. He hated to lose. He hated to lose, and he came in the locker room many times and told us how he felt. How he felt about how we was playing, and the one moment I'm gonna take from that, man, was it was me, him, Jeff McGinnis, Gerald Wallace, and I want to say Jimmy Rich, but Jimmy Rich might not have been there. But I know it was me, Gerald, and Jeff McGinnis. We played one-on-one against MJ, and when I tell you he was frying us.
Still had it, huh?
Man, he was frying us, bro, and was talking crazy to us too, man. But him as an owner, though, man, like I say, though, he a lot of people give him dirt about being an owner, but a lot of people don't understand, man. It's not easy. It's not easy. You're taking a chance and drafting kids and signing people in free agency, and you just don't know how things going to pan out. You just you base it on their talent, you base it on what you feel like the potential can be. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I think he just gets a lot of scrutiny from that. And I mean, obviously, he ain't gonna live up to being anything else in life outside of being the man who he is in a game of basketball. He's the GOAT, and especially for me, he's the GOAT. So, he can't, anything he do ain't gonna live up to that. But, and just people always got a lot of negativity to say when it comes to him as a basketball owner.
Right. Speaking of these games, right? He had to have walked away with some L's, right? Like he wasn't just winning.
I mean, he scored on him, but he won the game.
Okay. Well, he was winning. So he was winning the games.
Yeah, he was winning. he was winning. He was winning. From what I remember, somebody else may tell a different story, but no, from what I remember, we lost.
Okay.
Was he doing like the same moves, or like was this like a different MJ, or did it look just like
sure
MJ?
He wasn't moving much more than 2 dribbles.
Same post up, fade away,
faking.
Anything you want, he still was doing it. At that age, just crazy.
Kept making y'all jump.
Calling fouls, probably. Like,
listen, man.
Come on, young fella.
He did whatever he wanted to do.
So you heard his comments, right? I'm surprised, but then I'm not surprised. And I'm going to tell you why. If you go back and look at Jordan's highlights with the Washington Wizards, the athleticism was not the same. The motor was not the same. The stamina was not the same. But he was still a hell of a player. That's number one for his age in that era. Jordan was averaging 22 points a game when teams were scoring 97 points a game. If you adjust those numbers for today's game with the amount of possessions, more scoring teams are averaging around 115 points per game. Jordan probably be averaging at that age, probably 26, 27, 28 points per game. Also bearing in mind, Jordan didn't even focus on shooting 3-pointers. He would be Jordan if you put that Jordan in today's NBA, I think he would last longer because the game is less physical. They're not going to be hitting you and doing all kind of hard fouling you and doing all of that. Jordan probably averaged about 28 points per game, 27, 28 points per game at that age. That's what I would surmise. But if you go back and look at old footage of Jordan, you would see that he was extremely skilled. This is why this whole stupid conversation about not having a bag, I think, is stupid. The only way Jordan was able to be effective at that age was because he was extremely skilled and he had a lot of moves. He had mastered the fundamentals of basketball. So even at that age, he was able to excel. So even hearing stories about him playing players in short one-on-one, 1v1s, maybe to 11 or whatever it was, it's conceivable. Because you must not forget a critical element of this entire equation. He is the greatest player ever. You must never forget that wrinkle of the story. And given the fact that he is the greatest player ever, that greatness is still with him. Those skills are still with him. He can't perform the way he used to, obviously, but in short bursts, I'm sure he can give you that business. So to hear an NBA player saying that a 43-year-old man was coming into practice and beating active NBA players in one-on-one is incredible. It's incredible. And Jordan said the only player he believed that could ever beat him in a one-on-one game was Kobe, who, by the way, never lost a one-on-one game, ever. And even when the question was brought up, he just gave this look on his face like, is this even a question? Are you seriously asking me this question? If I've ever lost in a one-on-one game? He's like, nobody's ever beaten me in a one-on-one game, right? So to me, that just speaks to the greatness of Jordan. It'll be good to hear some of these stories. There's a lot of twerking going on these days. And I'm like, it's good to kind of go back in the archives and unearth some of these stories so people can understand just how good this guy was as a Wizard. He was incredible. He was absolutely incredible. Without the suspicions of him taking this or that, right? He was incredible. So these are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.